us through exactly here what the SEC is alleging that Andrew Left and Citron did.
So the SEC and the Justice Department also, they're both alleging that Andrew Left a number of things, but most notably, he came out with calls both to the long and short side, initiated price targets, and loaded up on positions before unveiling that research. The stock would move, and then he'd quickly close the positions to profit very rapidly. So he'd make bets not only on the underlying stock, but also use options, basically saying, at least when you look through the Justice Department press release, saying that he wanted to make fast, easy money using those mechanisms.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. He sometimes suggested that stock prices would fall by 50% or more, but then actually closed his positions after share prices had only moved a couple of percents. That's according to the indictment. Tell us a little bit more about Andrew Left, though. I mean, what do we know about him, and what's he known for?
He's known for being kind of bombastic. He did actually announce back in 2021 he was on the kind of receiving end of the wrath of the GameStop movement. So he said he was no longer going to make public short calls because he had built out such a vast following with the likes of betting against Valiant, among a broader range of investments that he kind of ended up being right on. But when you look at kind of what he's done and when he kind of started backpedaling 3 years ago, that also was when the SEC and Justice Department started investigating short sellers, some of their relationships to hedge funds. So he's been under the microscope from a regulatory standpoint for quite some time, along with a number of other players in the space.
But some of these allegations have to do with his longs as well, right? It's not all about him being a short seller. And when it comes down to it in the indictment, they're not suing him for shorting stocks. It's really about the way that he publicized his calls and then acted in his own trades.
Exactly. Reading from the SEC press release, they list an example that he said he would stay long a stock until the price hit $65, when in fact, according to the release, they immediately began selling the stock at $28. So coming out with these calls, loading up on positions, basically using his stature on social media, whether that's X or also going on TV and talking about positions, and then quickly profiting from them. According to some of the documents from the Justice Department and the SEC, he basically would put limit orders out. So he would close out those positions even if it kept going or kind of potentially
in the parlance of our times, that would be called a pump and dump scheme.
Yes. Well, even more than that, he was setting up apparently fake websites, wasn't he? To what extent did this go to? And is this a one-off? Yes, perhaps they found this because of that short selling investigation, but it doesn't seem like every short seller is out doing this.
No, well, there's a lot of skepticism around short sellers, and that's kind of to Matt's point. Is it misaligned kind of allegations where you come out with kind of this call that a company should drop 60% and you're going to hold on to that short bet, or do you close out your position when it drops 10%? So when you look at some of the findings, again, the SEC document saying they found these alleged bait and switch tactics that netted Left and his firm $20 million. So not only did he have those, according to the filings, those accounts to help promote some of his calls, there's also potentially taking backdoor payments from hedge funds that's being alleged in some of these lawsuits, that there was partnerships with something around balance sheet.
Is there anything that we can extrapolate out from what we're seeing in this very specific case, these allegations, to the broader short selling industry? Because you know pretty well that it seems like it's been a dying breed. We've seen less short sellers. A lot of them have gone underground. What's next?
No, I think that we are going to be closely watching to see if other prominent names that were part of these investigations are going to be facing similar lawsuits. Because as you mentioned, it has been a dying breed. You saw Jim Chanos pulling out from short selling and closing that fund. You've seen a number of short sellers who are pretty prominent, either making less calls or just kind of going after smaller companies, whether that's Chinese firms and tiny operating firms that operate offshore, as opposed to some of these bigger names when you're targeting the likes of an Adani Corp, which is what we saw with Nate Anderson and Hindenburg.